I'm Brenda Quintana coming to you from the Beehive. Today I'm going to show you how to make this super cute note card using the bird from the Happy Thing Celebration stamp set. You can earn this set for free with a $50 order from now until March 31st, 2015. I'm also going to be using another stamp set from Sale-a-bration called the Simply Wonderful stamp set, and I'm going to be using the words "You're the best" from that set. So let me show you how to make this really cute card. So we're going to need a piece of cardstock to start off with. This is Whisper White, and I've cut it to 4.5 by 3 inches. And then I'm going to take my Memento ink pad and the bird stamp, and let me just open this up, and I'm going to ink the bird facing up because for me it's easier to see that I'm hitting all the parts of the image. So I'm just kind of tapping it along there, and then I'm going to line this up, stamp up with the edge of my cardstock over here on the left. Just gonna stamp it down, lift that up, and then I'm going to use the "You're the Best" stamp, and I'm just going to ink that up. And you'll notice that there's a little bit of an indent right here, so I'm just going to slightly angle it towards, or bring it in towards that indent right there. And we can put the stamp set away, or the ink away too, because I don't want to hit it with accidentally. And so you'll notice that on my sample the branch goes all the way down to the edge, and my stamp stops right here. So how am I going to create this little branch piece? Well, first of all, I'm going to take my Stampin' Write basic black marker, and I'm going to turn my cardstock like this, because when I draw freehand, I find that it's easier for me to kind of bring my hand away like this. So I'm going to take the brush tip from my basic black marker, and first of all, before I actually even draw on here, I'm just going to see if I've got a good angle where I can kind of come down. And so I'm just going to kind of really just not even straight. I'm just going to kind of just let it kind of squiggle just a little tiny bit, because you'll notice this stamp set has some really dark lines, so you don't want to be too perfect when you do it. In fact, you can come back and add a little bit more, like just some little bit of interest, so that it doesn't look too perfect. There you go. And I wouldn't be able to tell if I didn't know that the branch ended here. You can't really tell. So that's the cool thing about just drawing it freehand with a marker. So how are we going to color this? Well, my friend and I were discussing it this morning, and what type of bird is this? And she suggested it's probably a bee eater. And so we looked him up, and the way they colored him in the Sale-a-bration catalog, I think he's kind of like a European bee eater. So I pulled this picture online, and I just printed it off so I could have it as a sample here when I was filming. But he's got like a blue chest and kind of a rusty red color on the back of his head, and some yellow under his throat. So I'm going to use this as inspiration, and that's what I do a lot. If it's like a naturally stamped image, a bird, a butterfly, a flower, I always go and look for some inspiration online. It just makes it easier to color things. So we're going to start off with using some Coastal Cabana Blendabilities, and I'm going to be using my darkest and my medium shade. So I'm going to start off with my darkest color, and I'm just going to pull off, I'm going to use the brush tip, and I'm just going to bring in a little color on one side and down on the bottom, and then I'm going to hit this little dark spot right in the center. And to cap this up, I'm going to, you notice that there's kind of this is a kind of a rectangular shaped lid. So this is wider this way, so you just kind of line them up and you click it shut. That's the easiest way to do it. And then I'm going to bring in my medium color on the brush side, and I'm going to go right over top of what I just did. I'm going to actually go all the way over what I did the first time. I'm going to go over the dark spot, and I'm going to come back in. I'm just going to keep blending, just keep my marker moving all around. And the nice thing is you can go back over if you don't like your blending. And I'm going to go right up over top of the dark part by his neck, but I'm going to leave the wings free because I'm coming in with a different color. And if you notice that your blending isn't good, you can come right back over and keep blending, 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 blending. Okay, I think I'm liking the look of that. All right, so let me close this up. And now, oh, I forgot to do a couple of things. We need to do his tail, and we need to do this little spot above his eye. So I'm going to just use the medium one for this. There's not a lot of room right here for blending because there's a lot of dark lines down here because of the stamp. And then also here, there's just not a lot of room. So I'm just going to use the medium shade of Coastal Cabana. And then we are going to use the yellow. I'm going to pull this one open, and I'm going to, actually, this time, I think I'm going to use the marker tip. So I'm going to come underneath here, and I'm just going to, this is my medium Daffodil Delight, okay? And then I'm going to come up here, I'm going to hit a little yellow on his beak like that. Again, bring this in, and now I'm going to bring in 2 shades of Calypso Coral, my darkest and my medium color. And I'm going to start off with the darker one, and again I'm going to use my brush tip, and I'm going to start down here, and I'm just going to blend a little bit along the bottom and a little bit along the top. And then I'm going to take the medium one, and I'm going to go right over top of what I just markered or colored. Okay, and then I'm going to come down and do my wings all the way down, that little part. And I'm just going to do this with the medium because, again, this is so dark right here that it really, you really wouldn't see any of the blending with 2 colors. So I'm going to cap this again, and now I'm going to come in with my lightest shade of Crumb Cake Blendability, and I'm going to use, I'll use the brush tip again. I'm just going to hit the parts of the branch, come down, color this in. There's not a lot of room to do any blending on this. You can if you want to, but I decided it didn't need it. And then finally, I'm going to take the lightest of my Old Olive, and I'm going to use, this time I'm going to use the marker tip. I'm just going to come in here and just hit the edge of this branch here with a little bit of green, a little Old Olive. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So I noticed that when this guy was done, I really liked him, but his eye looked a little blank, and I wanted to give that eye a little oomph. So what I did was I took some rhinestone jewels, and I took my black Sharpie, and I figured that the best size for this that would fit the eye space would be my medium rhinestone. So I just took a Sharpie and I went all around the edge of one of the medium rhinestone jewels. I left the center part without any Sharpie. I wanted a little bit of light space, a little bit more reflectivity So I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's just a little bit of light in the center. And then I'm going to take my piercing tool and just use that as a positioner for my eye. And I'm going to put him right down on the eye space. And you'll see that it just gives that eye just a little bit more oomph. I just love that. So we're done with this layer, but we need to put it on a card base. So I just love these Whisper White note cards and envelopes because they're pre-cut and pre-scored, and they come with an envelope that can be mailed with U.S. mail. And I just need to get this fold to crease a little better. So I'm going to use my bone folder, just run along there a couple times, and that will make my crease really nice and it's staying down. And then I just need to adhere this to the front of the card. So I'm going to take a little bit of snail adhesive. And oh, I should show you one more thing. Did you see on the back? This is the reason why I didn't stamp right on to my Whisper White note card. Our blendabilities are so strong that they are going to soak right through the cardstock. This is the back of the cardstock. So that's why you want to have an additional layer to put on top of your note card so it doesn't sink through to the inside. And I could have cut this to fit the outside of my card exactly, but I'll show you in a second. I cut it. I'm just putting some snail adhesive on all four corners. I cut it just a little bit smaller than my note card, and that way it gives it a little bit of a framed look. You can kind of see that looks like it has like a little bit of a frame around it. Isn't that cute? And then I wanted to try it with our crumb cake note cards and envelopes. So, you know, I think this one actually looks quite good as well. I don't know which one you like better, the Whisper White one or the crumb cake one, but I kind of like both. And aren't these cute? They really are a happy thing. Well, all the supplies you'll need to make these cards will be available for purchase or to earn on my blog. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Bye for now.